Welcome back. President-elect Trump hitting the ground running, already starting to fill out his cabinet. Trump tapping former acting Immigrations and Customs Enforcement Director and Fox News contributor Tom Homan to be in charge of U.S. border security. Trump says Homan will be his border czar and will be in charge of all deportation. Trump praising Homan on Truth Social, writing, "Nobody is better at policing and controlling our border." Homan joined me yesterday on Sunday Morning Futures, and I asked him how he plans to deport millions of illegal migrants. Watch this.
You concentrate on the public safety threats and the national security threats first, because they're the worst of the worst. So it's going to be the worst first. And we know a record number of people on the terrorist watch list have crossed this border. Because this administration is paying for free airline tickets all over the country, free hotel rooms at $500 a night, a free education, free medical care, and that's in perpetuity. What President Trump's plan is going to do is, over time, is going to save the taxpayers money and put an end to this foolishness. They're paying $500 a night for a hotel room in New York City. Meanwhile, there's empty ice bags at $127 a night.
Trump's impact on the border being felt even before he takes office. One of the caravans headed to the United States has now shrunk from 3,000 to about half of that following Trump's victory. They're deciding it may not be worth it, after all, to break the law and enter America illegally. Joining me now is Florida Congressman Carlos Gimenez. He is a member of the House Armed Services, Homeland Security, and China Select Committees. Congressman, it's good to see you. Thanks very much for being here. Your reaction to what's happening here at the border, and what would you like to see from Tom Homan?
I'd like for him to enforce the law, and I think that's exactly what he's going to do. I know that President Trump is going to enact a number of executive orders on his first day. We've always said that it was policy that actually caused this mass migration into the United States of illegal immigrants. And so as soon as these migrants found out that President Trump was now elected, half of them decided that they're not even going to take the chance anymore. And I expect that that trend is going to continue. And then I'm sure that Tom Homan is going to do a very, very good job in securing all of our borders and also deporting those that are the most dangerous among us right away.
Well, I know that Elise Stefanik wanted the UN ambassador job, and she's getting it. But what does this mean for your majority in the House? You're going to be losing people because Trump's going to be tapping them as cabinet members.
Yeah, we can't lose too many. And so, one is okay. I think our majority is going to be something like 220 to 223. That's not much. We need to keep 218 to have the majority. So I don't think we're going to be losing too many members of the House to the Trump administration simply because of the numbers. We just don't have enough to give him at this point.
The House, of course, the House China Committee is now pushing to end China's preferential trade status after Republicans won the presidency and flipped the Senate. I want to ask you about this. A committee spokesperson said that they have agreed on a bipartisan basis that now is the time to reset the trade relationship with China so that it reflects the threat that we'd face from the CCP, given it is our adversary. China's trade surplus, it's a surplus, on track to reach almost $1 trillion. Trump has talked about this so much, it's already up to $785 billion in the first 10 months of 2024. What do you want to see here, Congressman? I mean, Steve Madden has gotten the memo. He's already moving production out of China as Trump's tariff threat looms. Steve Madden says he will cut China sourcing up to 45%. Are you expecting more companies to do the same? And how will our trade relationship change with China, sir?
Look, I've been saying, and probably on your show for some time, we need to decouple from China. We are funding the instrument of our demise, and we need to stop it. And so, yeah, I wholeheartedly agree that we should end China's preferential trade status. And that, look, I think one of the things that President Trump has said, that he wants a 15% corporate rate on companies that are doing business solely, in other words, producing here in the United States. I think that'll have an incentive to bring these companies back. But 45% reduction in China production from a company simply isn't far enough. We need to decouple from China now because they are our greatest adversary, and we'll be facing them in the future. We'll be facing the monster that we created in the future. We need to make that monster smaller so that it doesn't really affect us in the future and threaten us the way it's threatening us right now.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not just, you know, the trade story, right? I mean, it's the CCP being inside the gates of America on so many levels. We're buying drones from DJI, a Chinese company, and using those drones in the military. I mean, get your head around that. That is just outrageous. There's all these companies that are traded on our exchanges. They don't even follow the same accounting rules that every other public company has to face. All of these issues. Are you going to be looking at all of these issues, sir?
Yeah, we are. And there's one other fact. China's poisoning us. It's Chinese chemicals that are being used by the Mexican cartels to kill us, okay, and kill tens of thousands of us every single year. And so not only should we, you know, decouple from them, we should actually call them what they are. They're terrorists. They're killing Americans every single year on purpose, using their Mexican cartel buddies to do that. And so I would hope that Mr. Homan, Tom Homan, not only secures the border, but does something about the Mexican drug cartels across the border that are involved in human trafficking and then also shipping the fentanyl that's killing tens of thousands of Americans every single year. And that fentanyl is relying on the chemicals that are being produced in China. And China understands exactly what they're doing. China is not our friend, and let's start treating them like they're not our friend. And let's decouple from China and do it as soon as we can.
You make a great point in terms of the fentanyl. I mean, the drug cartels of Mexico, I believe, are the secondary player, right? It's the CCP and the organized crime coming out of China that is running this operation of getting drugs into America, correct? And the Mexican cartels are the secondary partner. It's China leading this.
Exactly. Look, Maria, the chemicals that are needed to produce fentanyl, they're not used for anything else. And by the way, it's illegal to sell those chemicals in China. Yet China incentivizes the companies that are producing those chemicals for export only. Yeah. They can't be used in China, export only. So they know exactly what they're doing, and they know they're killing tens of thousands of Americans and other people around the world. And so, yeah, I consider China to be a terrorist state because they're killing tens of thousands of Americans. And we need to start treating them as such. And again, you know, decoupling them and taking away their preferential trade status is just the beginning of what we should be doing.
Yeah. So real quick, what would be the most important legislation that you'd like to see come out of the House? Because I don't know how well China Week went, but you could do trade, you could do all those stocks traded on U.S. exchanges, you could do, you know, obviously the drug trade and what you're talking about, fentanyl. What would be most important for Congress to work on to actually have an impact here?
Look, like I said, we need to start decoupling. And so all the legislation that is needed for us to start decentivizing and incentivizing those companies that are currently in China producing their huge trade surplus needs to come back to the United States, or at least away from China and closer to the United States. Maybe we can help those countries in Central and South America, or countries, get some of those companies into their nations so that we can stop this pressure of illegal immigration also. There's a whole bunch of stuff we can do.
Such an important conversation. Thank you so much, Congressman Carlos Gimenez. Always on point. Thank you, sir.